Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Elrond and specifically the price action of the eGold token. Guys, as we get into this, if you do find it useful and informative, hit the like button. Really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said, done, and out of the way, let's jump on down into the desktop, take a look at the charts and see what's going on here with eGold. Okay, guys, so we're just here on the daily chart to start with, just to kind of go through the kind of, current kind of climate with what's going on here with Elrond. Now, you know what, actually, before we get into the daily, let's actually just quickly review that kind of scope of our weekly, because the weekly is the most powerful chart in understanding the overall trend on where things are going, right? And there's a few things I do want to kind of just quickly call out. One, obviously, is the fact that we were oversold right down here in this bottom area of the chart, and we're right back down in this low area of oversold on the stochastic RSI weekly chart, right over here, right? So we can see that we had huge gains to be made from that low area here all the way up to the top end of about 937%. Now we have pulled back a little bit and that has wiped out that stochastic, but puts us in a really good strong position to continue the growth as we enter 2022. Anyone who's following the Bitcoin videos will know exactly kind of what's going on with the bull run with the market leader, that is BTC. And obviously that means that the altcoins are also going to be following that into 2022. And obviously once Bitcoin is done, we'll start to see the alt season start. Okay, so right now this weekly chart's actually looking pretty good, right? Good growth overall, and we haven't actually slipped down into lower lows or anything like that. Okay, so we can actually mark this up in a really strong way. We can say that it's a 1 through 5. But I think most importantly, considering the fact that we're slightly later start with this one, is it's actually more of an ABC move, right? We have our A, we have our B, and we have our C. Now, when we actually measure this out and we take the distance of our A wave just here, we grab it from that previous high and we go here. What we do is we'll move this over to the B wave low. And then what we actually are left with, if I actually move it over here, is you can see that we a 1-for-1 ratio, just put it over here. We overextended just above that 618 area. And again, here you can see that we almost went impulsive and then were pulled back down. In fact, we would actually class that as an impulsive move, and it was unfortunate that we actually pulled back, right? And we saw that impulsive move on that daily chart. So I just want to kind of highlight that as an ABC move, and if we actually pull this down into our daily chart, and what we can see is obviously that last leg here is impulsive, right? That C wave's impulsive, 1 through 5. Okay, now here once we kind of got to that top, we can see some selling pressure coming in, but we also saw the market reversal as well. Okay, and this led to a very sharp ABC move to the downside. Now, that was not impulsive down. Okay, and what we're actually finding ourselves is coming back down to this level of support, right? I mean, if I go grab my horizontal ray here, what you can do is you can see if I come far enough over to the left-hand side and I look at the candles that I have over here, just on the right-hand side, I'm going to mark those candles as a support level, just here. What I'm then going to do is just make this a bright blue color so we can see it. Okay, and then we actually look back at history. You can see that this is a really strong support level for us, right? We broke through that as a resistance and we back tested it, and we fell back through, again, working our way through it until it was a solid support line. And this is what is being tested right now with Elrond. So that's actually a really important thing just to note. This seems to be a really good, strong bottom for an ABC correction, but also an area that's going to be holding quite well. It would take quite a bit to actually see that get broken, in my opinion. And specifically when we look at a stochastic RSI that is also heavily oversold, currently tracking at 7.6 on the chart. Anything less than 20 is oversold. And we've been down here for a very long time now. You can see this prolonged period of oversold status. And you can see that this is basically as drawing us down towards that 60% crash, right? 58% pullback from the high wave 5. Now, what's important about an ABC move is that it is corrective in nature, meaning that we are looking for that push back to the upside overall. So right now, obviously, we are seeing a little bit of a choppiness in here on this daily chart. Really hard to actually see that move in clarity, right? But there is something else potentially going on here that I think is also important to kind of acknowledge, right? And that is that we have a double bottom, right? We've got a double tap on this area. Specifically in these last 2 days, we can actually see those wicks really coming down. Now, if we get a triple bottom, that's a pretty good indication of things to come as well. So do watch out for that one. But if we actually jump this down into our hourly view, we get a little bit more of the detail, right? Because obviously we can see that low area of a wave C coming in here on this support level. and we're pushing up, and here you can see an ABC move. In fact, it's very, very choppy with lots of ABC moves and lots of correctiveness kind of going on in the space. There's so many, in fact, you could spend a lifetime, it feels, just drawing out these ABC moves that you very clearly can see inside our chart data here on this hourly, right? And a lot of it doesn't make too much sense, right? And this is half the problem here is really that we are monitoring what's kind of going on with Bitcoin, and it seems there's a lot of manipulation around the prices with that one. And as a result of that, I think you're not really getting a lot of clarity from many of these altcoins that are also having this very choppy kind of corrective action, jumping around all over the place. You see this sharp move up with an ABC, and then you see a very, very sharp pullback here. Then a very choppy kind of correction at the bottom. And actually what you see is no real kind of definitive move down to getting lower until you come way over here, right after you've actually breached this previous high area. So it's very, very odd in terms of how you'd actually go ahead and measure these, and the hourly chart might not be the best one to actually start to make sense of it. So it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of practice to kind of hop our way through some of these different price levels to see if we can actually make some sense over what is going on. Here, for example, seems to be a double top just up here before you have that rejection, which is obviously a bearish scenario, as in you're running out of momentum just as you come up to the top here. And again, you're not really completing that standardized move that you would normally see, as in an A, a B, and then a C, which a C, would actually be a like for like for an A, which should actually have overextended above that resistance. But instead, we found the resistance and we came back down. Okay, so very, very choppy in its nature, not what you would normally like to see, specifically in one scenario or another, i.e. you're either bearish or you're bullish, right? In a trending market, one way or another, you get a very, very clear kind of view. But under choppy corrections like this, the only thing that you can really say definitively is that it's corrective in nature, which means it's not impulsive. And that's actually a positive, because it means that your corrections are short term, not long term. If they were impulsive down, they would be long term bearish, right? Instead, what you end up with is a scenario that's very corrective and short term, and then short term bearish, i.e. If you're on the shorter time frames, you'll be able to short the market and see some pretty definitive kind of motions to the downside. But in the bigger picture, the bigger macro view, it's actually quite bullish, and actually things are actually looking more likely to a continuation to the upside overall. So it's important that we make those distinctions and understand that why I always call ABCs corrections, because they're short term, and if we go into an impulsive move, they're longer term. And again, that's very clear to see here with this longer term play that was impulsive up. Okay, an impulsive up followed by an ABC down. That is very much what you would expect to see. It was slightly sharper. It happened very, very sharply. Quick downside of an ABC. And normally what you end up looking for here is then that corrective action and a push to the top and push back to the upside. Now, what's really important about this move right here is not only do we know and understand that it is corrective in its nature, we're also starting to see a double bottom. And like I said, if we actually come back down and retest this area as a triple bottom, that's a definitive way to say that we are definitely moving up to the upside. Obviously, not a financial advisor, but reading the data and reading the chart patterns and understanding what is here is very important in understanding what potentially is on the horizon next. So for Elrond here, this is a really good key area of support. Do expect this to hold out quite well. We obviously have this area as a C-wave low, and coming back down into this area right now. And again, on this 4-hourly chart, if I actually bring it up into an 8-hourly, and what we do is we'll just bring this over here, we can actually see a little bit more of that kind of downsided move, right? We have an A here, a B, and a C, right? So if we actually go ahead and grab that from an A wave high to down here, a B, which is again that double top at the bottom, which then leads you into that C wave low. Okay, and if we actually measure the distance on that, I would imagine that we're falling just short of going impulsive down and holding that support level. So let me just measure that A wave and grab it, move it over to here. And as you can see, we're holding just above that 1.382, preventing it from going impulsive down. Okay, so that's actually a really good key thing for Elrond here, holding this support level. With that ABC coming in here, that reversal is now coming in on this 8-hourly. You can see that stochastic RSI rising. So a part of our daily move now will be to slowly rise our way up out of here with this double tap, or double tap on the bottom here, leading us into some pretty interesting heights. Now, I do expect that we're still going to see volatility for the remaining part of December, and then from there I do think we are likely to see some fantastic heights coming back in, reaching new all-time highs. Now, in terms of Elrond, we haven't got too much more left in the tank, right? We've been tracking this for quite some time, and our conservative model, was coming in pretty firmly between that $500 and $700 range, right? That's kind of like it's always been the kind of the key area for us on this channel. The 4.236 extension comes in at $869, and as many people know who follow the channel, we like to sell on the way up, right? Locking in those profits and then leaving a little bit in the tank for that final extension. So given the fact that we've already reached this 2.618 area of $558, actually fell just short of that. We came in at a high of $544 before pulling back down. This is basically meaning that there isn't terribly too much more left in the tank. We are still going to go up probably into these higher areas of 3.618 and a 4.236 extension, meaning there's about 254% left in the tank before we actually start to see this thing fizzled out a little bit. Now, of course, we can overextend on that based on trends and so forth, but I do think that we want to be conservative. We want to lock those profits in and then welcome the bear market in with open arms so we can accumulate more Elrond and eGold in that bear market. So right now, everything's actually looking pretty good kind of consolidation down on this support level. Hopefully we'll get that reversal soon, see a all-time high come back in next year, and then obviously get cashed out of the market with Elrond, and then obviously go back in the bear market, accumulate heavily when it loses 80 or so % of its value. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this video useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.